What's up, wrestling fans? You're watching Fight Talks News, the one-stop spot for every WWE headline and showdown. Subscribe now and ring that bell. Let's get started. The arena lights dimmed, and the familiar buzz of Monday Night Raw shifted into something heavier and more uncertain. Fans sensed that something unusual had just unfolded behind the scenes, and the question spread quickly through the building and across social media. What exactly happened backstage involving Liv Morgan and Nikki Cross? This wasn't a small interaction or a throwaway moment. It felt deliberate, intense, and loaded with consequences. The women's division has been evolving rapidly, and moments like this are the sparks that ignite larger stories. What initially appeared to be a routine night suddenly turned into a moment of intrigue and speculation, with fans eager to understand how one backstage confrontation could ripple through the division and reshape the future. A backstage confrontation that felt personal. The confrontation between Nikki Cross and Liv Morgan wasn't loud or chaotic, but it was deeply unsettling in its intensity. Cross approached Morgan with purpose, invading her space and forcing an uncomfortable exchange that immediately raised tension. This was not a respectful challenge or competitive trash talk. The words exchanged carried weight, suggesting frustration, ambition, and something unresolved beneath the surface. Morgan, caught off guard but unshaken, stood her ground and refused to retreat. The encounter ended with a direct challenge that made one thing clear. This rivalry wasn't built for subtlety, it was built for impact. Moments like this are how WWE transforms quiet tension into must-see television, and this one landed with undeniable force. Confirmation that raised the stakes. Shortly after the confrontation, confirmation arrived that made the situation even more compelling. Liv Morgan officially accepted Nikki Cross's challenge for a one-on-one match on the following episode of Monday Night Raw. This wasn't a tease stretched across weeks or a story left hanging. WWE moved quickly, signaling that this clash mattered. With the match confirmed, the tension shifted from speculation to anticipation. Fans now knew that what started backstage would be settled inside the ring. The announcement elevated both competitors, placing them squarely in the spotlight and signaling potential shifts within the women's division. Matches born from personal conflict often produce the most memorable moments, and this one feels destined to do just that. The current landscape of the women's division. The Raw. Women's division in late 2025 is defined by unpredictability and constant change. New alliances form unexpectedly, rivalries ignite without warning, and momentum can shift in a single night. Within this environment, Liv Morgan has remained a steady presence, known for her resilience and refusal to back down. Nikki Cross, meanwhile, has re-emerged with a sharper edge, adding volatility to an already competitive field. Their confrontation represents the collision of two different paths within the division. One thrives on heart and perseverance, while the other embraces chaos and intensity. When divisions reach this level of depth, every feud matters because it helps define who rises and who gets left behind. Nikki Cross and the power of reinvention. Nikki Cross has built her WWE career on reinvention. From her early days to her evolving character shifts, she has never stayed in one place for long. Her current version feels more focused and more dangerous, blending unpredictability with experience. This isn't chaos for chaos's sake. It's calculated pressure designed to unsettle opponents. Cross's challenge to Morgan wasn't impulsive. It felt intentional, as though she saw an opportunity to make a statement against a respected competitor. By targeting Morgan, Cross isn't just chasing a win. She's demanding attention from the locker room and reminding everyone that she refuses to be ignored or underestimated in this new chapter. Liv Morgan's journey of resilience. Liv Morgan's recent journey has been defined by perseverance. Injuries, setbacks, and shifting priorities could have slowed her momentum permanently, but instead they added depth to her character. Her return to prominence wasn't smooth or easy, and that struggle resonated with fans. Morgan represents resilience in its purest form, someone who absorbs punishment and keeps moving forward. Her response to Nikki Cross's confrontation reflected that same mindset. There was no fear, no hesitation, only resolve. Morgan understands that moments like this can define careers. By accepting the challenge without excuses, she reinforced her identity as a competitor who meets adversity head-on, regardless of the risks involved. Why this match means more than a win. On the surface, this is just another singles match on Raw. In reality, it's far more significant. This match represents momentum, positioning, and narrative direction for both women. A victory could push Nikki Cross toward higher-profile feuds and re-establish her as a major threat within the division. For Liv Morgan, a strong performance reinforces her place among the division's most reliable competitors. Loss or victory aside, how this match unfolds will influence how both women are booked moving forward. WWE thrives on moments where one match changes perception, and this confrontation feels like a pivot point that could open multiple story paths beyond a single night. Anticipating the in-ring battle. When these two finally collide in the ring, fans should expect a physical and emotionally charged contest. Morgan's speed, resilience, and crowd connection will contrast sharply with Cross's aggressive bursts and unsettling tactics. Cross is likely to test Morgan mentally as much as physically, using taunts and sudden shifts in pace to disrupt her rhythm. Morgan, in response, will likely lean into her heart-driven offense, turning momentum swings into emotional surges. Near falls, sudden counters, and intense exchanges could define this match. It wouldn't be surprising if the rivalry escalates beyond the bell, setting the stage for further confrontations or extended storytelling. Possible outcomes and future directions. Regardless of who wins, this match is unlikely to be the end of the story. A Morgan victory could position her for higher-stakes rivalries or renewed championship discussions. A Cross win could accelerate her momentum and establish her as a disruptive force among the division's elite. WWE may also use this match to introduce new angles, alliances, or unexpected twists that extend the feud. Sometimes the aftermath matters more than the result itself. Heated rivalries often grow stronger after the first clash, and this one feels designed to evolve rather than conclude. Both women stand to gain visibility and narrative depth from what unfolds next. A rivalry that reflects WWE storytelling. At its core, this confrontation captures what makes WWE storytelling effective. It blends character, motivation, and unpredictability into moments that feel personal and meaningful. Liv Morgan and Nikki Cross represent two contrasting philosophies within the division, and their clash highlights identity, ambition, and the desire to prove belonging. This isn't filler content, it's storytelling with direction. Fans are invested because the stakes feel real and the characters feel authentic. As the match approaches, anticipation continues to build, not just for the result, but for what it represents. This is how rivalries begin, and this one has all the elements to leave a lasting impact.